Everyone wants to live an inspired life, yet so many people search for happiness following the footsteps of peers and taking advice from people who have different values and outcomes to which they're searching. There are people born into wealth, graduated from the best universities in the world, and there are people who have none of that and yet are living extraordinary lives full of fulfillment and reward. The purpose of this podcast is to share insights and strategies that allow you to question the status quo and think freely, so you can design your life and be who you want to be. We get one life. Time is our most valuable asset. I believe that when we're free and able to focus on meaningful work, we become better human beings. This is Always Free, and I'm your host, Jason Graystone.
Welcome to the leading podcast for financial empowerment and wealth creation. Subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss an episode. You can connect with Jason on social media and subscribe to the Jason Graystone YouTube channel for weekly videos. Don't forget to also subscribe to the weekly newsletter to receive frequent educational content and action steps to help you design your life so you can be who you want to be. For news on all future events and updates, go to jasongraystone.com.
Well, welcome back to the podcast, guys. I hope you had a good week so far. If this is the first time you're listening, this is the number one podcast for financial empowerment and wealth creation and how to live a life of being always free, which are a set of principles that I've shared strategies around throughout this podcast from episode 1 in order. So go back to episode 1 if you're listening to this for the first time ever. Or definitely be sure to go back to that episode to start there. It can be quite tempting to skip to some of the attractive titles of this podcast, but I assure you, you'll get the most out of it if you start at episode 1. So this week, we're on podcast episode 71. We've been speaking about trading. I caught up with my trading partner, Akil Stokes, and we've also caught up with Mike Bellafiore, Brett Steenberger last week. We went a bit deep on trading psychology, which is phenomenally, it was really, really important that you get that stuff down if you're going to go into the world of speculation in particular, but also just to develop a mindset for wealth building anyway. And this week really is inspired off of a comment that I got, or a message I got on social media saying, my goal to achieve financial freedom is to live an easy life. And at the time that I received the message, bearing in mind, by the time, I was 30, before I was 30, I was in a position where I could cover my lifestyle costs, without relying on anyone, without relying on spending too much time generating that income. In fact, I had reached I'd reached a position where I didn't really have to do too much. And there was about an 18-month period where all I was doing was trading for about an hour a day, and that was it. And at the time I received the message, I was in the gym and I looked at the message. It was 6 a.m. I'd just gone into the gym and I was doing a HIIT workout with my wife, and I thought, I definitely don't want to be in this gym. This is probably the furthest from where I want to be. This is the last thing I want to do, but I'm doing it the first thing in the morning. And I thought, this isn't easy. This really isn't easy. So I want to kind of touch on that, and I want to I'll round the podcast off by coming back to that point in a minute, or shortly. But I want to kind of talk about that because people have a misconception of achieving this kind of easy life when they achieve financial freedom, and that's a pure fantasy. Okay, and the reason it's a fantasy is because there is no such thing. An easy life, if you think you're going to sit there and just have an easy life and everything's going to be okay in your life when you reach this position, that is a fantasy. And I know I've touched on this before, but there's been the elections this week, and there's been a few things in the news that I want to kind of touch on as I kind of relate this, this kind of thought process too. So the first one is, as you grow, as you develop, you're never ever going to stop developing. So no matter how free you become, you will never stop developing. And the more free you become, the chances are you're in momentum of development, because you wouldn't be there if you hadn't undergone some level of self-development. So the chances are you're going to continue that, because that perpetual, you understand the perpetual results that motion and the results that you get from doing that. And in doing that, what you're doing as a human is you're raising up the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? You're going towards self-actualization, and to get there, you have to develop, you have to grow, and in order to grow, you're going to have to go through a process of changing values or shifting values slightly or focusing on new things. So the entire time you're doing that, you're going to have support and challenge throughout. So a real example is someone who's in a job, okay, who just their dream is to just get out of a job and work for themselves, and they want to start their own business. Now, when they start their own business, originally their values were, I just need to pay for my bills, right? And they would get upset by anyone challenging them or stopping them from being able to pay their bills, or they would hate their boss because the boss dictates the hours they can work. And they would get triggered by things in their job that stop them from doing the job to earn their income. As they start their own business, they're not worried about that anymore. What they're worried about now is employing people and understanding staff feelings and managing teams and building a team and delegating workload to the team, and really keeping the boat together, right? Keeping the house in order. And their values shift. Okay, now they've got new problems of competition, problems of other business owners poaching your staff, problems of, keeping your prices right and doing the market research and all that kind of thing. And anyone that challenges those things will then trigger you. Whereas paying your bills and someone you don't have a boss anymore. So that challenge is gone. You've now got new challenges that are going to enable you to grow and move to the next level. And the next level might be, you run a business and you're looking to scale it or exit it even. You're looking to sell it. Now you've got people who are challenging you on that front, right? There's going to be staff leaving or systems not in place, and you're going to value putting systems in place, or you're going to get triggered by people telling you your business isn't worth as much as you want for it. And all of a sudden you've gone from just paying your bills and scrimping by to thinking that owning your own business would be the absolute gem and you'd be in this place of happiness, to going to own your own business, to trying to exit the business, to then reach freedom, right? To then exit for a large sum. And those menial little problems that you had before are forgotten. You've now got bigger challenges. And then when you sell the business, okay, and you're free, you've got all the time in the world to think. And now you're going to start having doubts about, you're going to have other challenges. You're going to have people challenging you. So there was about an 18-month period where I was just trading from home, okay? And I'd been, everyone's so used to me going out to work, leave at 5 a.m, come back at 6 in the evening, do my thing and then get up and go again. And, that whole Jay's out the house thing, he must be a hero at work, he's working hard, to sitting in an office at home and just kind of twiddling my thumbs while kids are at school, friends are at work, and all the rest of it. And then you start having challenges of people going, what is he doing? Is he a drug dealer? Is he a house? Because no one understands financial markets, right? Not many people understand financial markets. Not many people understand investing, which is why I teach this. But then people are like, oh, is he pulling his weight? And you kind of, I don't know, you get this kind of unease of, wow, I didn't realise this would be a challenge. I didn't realise my eyesight would be a challenge, or putting on weight because you're visiting the fridge every 5 minutes, or just not having anyone because all your friends are at work and your kids are at school, and it's just not quite what you thought it would be. And then you strive to go to the next level and you think, well, how can I overcome this? Okay, well, I'm going to keep myself active and busy. I'm going to start another business. And that is a natural progression. So what I'm really getting at is it's never, ever, you're never going to have an easy life, because the whole time you're a human, you will strive to grow. And as we're striving to grow, our values change, our motives change. And as they change, we get new things challenging us. So like the whole thing with this, what I'm trying to say here is, if you think that you're going to get to this place when you become financially free, that you're going to have this easy life, you're probably not going to achieve it, because you're not going to get to where you want to go because you've got unrealistic expectations about what that looks like. And as you get closer to it, you're going to feel like you're going in the wrong direction if you've got this misconception. So where this really kind of played out this week is I saw a lot of people kind of talking about the election. And it's kind of similar where people depend on getting to a place. If I could just get onto, if I could just reach this level of income, I will be okay. If I could just reach financial freedom, I'll be okay. If President Biden could become president, the world would just be a better place. And it's rubbish, because no one human being is going to change everyone else's values on the face of the earth. And this is all dynamic. It's all going on all the time. Everyone's got all these different values. Everyone's challenging people. Everyone's supporting people. There's all this going on all the time. There's no one human being that's going to change all that. So when you kind of say, if I just had that, I'd be okay, what you're doing is literally giving power away, giving your own power away. If you're dependent on a thing, a place, a human, a president, whatever it might be, you're giving your power away. And when you give your power away, you're just in the belief system that they are going to make the world a happier place, which doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. The happiness isn't a place that you get to. An easy life isn't a place you get to. And an easy life is not what you should be striving for, okay? What you need to understand is it's all how you decide to perceive things, act on things, and decisions that you make, okay, and react. That is what you can control, and that is what's going to get you to a place of happiness, okay? Being able to navigate and direct your way around life and choose what you want to do and what you love to do, but expecting that you're going to have challenges all forever, for the rest of your life. You might be financially free and you might have a relationship challenge. Your wife or husband might leave you. One of your family members might die. You might get an illness and all this stuff. It never goes away. It never ever goes away, and you can't avoid those things. They're always going to come up. What will make a significant difference to your mindset and your life is being in a position where you decide how you drive through life every single day. That is what I believe that everyone wants. And they just need, the reason that a lot of people aren't getting it is because they're giving their power away to this kind of, this dream or this fantasy that someone, something, some position is going to sort them out. And it's not. It's your decision to actually do that. It's your decision to actually go through and do that. And you have to start with your own mindset. All right. I was speaking to a trader the other day, and he's struggling to maintain consistent profits. And we was talking a little bit about this, and he said, I almost feel like my brain wants to lose as much as I win. And if you don't get your mindset right, you will do that, because your brain's trying to get you to balance. Your brain's trying to balance you. And if you've got kind of a guilt going on, like when people were saying, is Jason, is Jay working? Is he earning, he's pulling his weight, right? You're going to feel like when someone says that to you, I better give some of these profits away just to prove that I'm still nice, I'm still great, right? I'm still good, I'm still a good person. If you've got that sort of thing going on in your head, you're going to give back what you earn because you don't feel like you're worthy of it. So it really does start with your mindset. It starts with you going, do you know what? I deserve to be in a position where I can navigate my own way through life and decide what I want to do and be who I want to be and do what I love to do each and every day. And when the challenges come up, they won't be big problems because I'll require no external motivation to overcome them. I'm guided towards it. So you'll be preempting it, expecting it. So that was really kind of a bit of a tangent, a bit of a rant, but it span off of this conversation that I had. And as I say, at the time, I was in the gym and I thought, this is not easy. I was sweating buckets. It was like 6:30 by the time I finished the HIIT session, or 6:35. And I felt I felt rough when I started, and I felt great when I finished. But I thought, you know what? Regardless of what everything I've said in this podcast, one thing is common, and the people that get great results and, understand that happiness isn't a place, it's an actual journey. They all made great effort, and everyone who has great results put in great effort, even if it was challenging them to the max, right? Getting up and going to the gym because they want to feel vibrant and healthy, and they want to live long, and they want to, enjoy the wealth that they're building, and they want to have more opportunities come their way by being fit and agile. People who have great results put in great effort, and they understand that there's no such thing as a place of happiness. Happiness is a state of being. And an easy life is the way that you structure your life to be able to navigate through it on your terms. The best piece of advice I ever got, which I've said in this podcast before, is nothing is good or bad. Everything is just what people's values are and what people want to do, and there's people out there supporting or challenging other people's value systems. When you understand that there's no such thing as an easy life. Instead, you just realize that there's people pushing you towards where you should be going. And that comes in the form of people challenging you and people supporting you. And when they challenge you and something, hits hard and it hurts you, and they say something that it hurts you, it's not them hurting you, it's because you're hurting from what they've said. And when you can realize what that is and embrace that and grow from that, that's when you're going to move towards your easy life, quote unquote. Wouldn't the world be amazing if everyone was so honest, right? If everyone was so honest, there would be no hate. It would just be, if I had just put on a few pounds, put on 40 pounds, and someone come up to me and say, "Oh, you've got a fat belly since I last saw you 3 weeks ago," and that hurt me, then I could go, "Oh, yeah, thanks for that. I wasn't happy about that either, so I'm gonna make sure I do something about that." Imagine if people were that honest. On the other hand, imagine if I was like training for a method actor film and I was trying to put on 3 stone, and the same person come to me and said, "Cool, you've got a fat belly since I last saw you 3 weeks ago." I would be happy because my values would be different. My motive would be different, and it wouldn't hurt me, right? So this is going on all the time, and I just wanted to kind of reinforce that, because if I could just give one piece of advice to the entire world, it would be that. Everything you do is an inner game. It is you. It is a single game as well, right? It's just you. And how you look at the world and how you decide to do things and how you perceive things and what actions you take is all down to you. One president is not going to annihilate racism or sexism or inequality. They're not going to do that. It's down to you to decide that those things aren't going to be a thing for you. And if everyone thought like that, there would be no inequality or racism or sexism or anything like that. So look, that was the rant. I felt like I knew it was going to be a ranting session. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you got value from it. It's all based around financial freedom and the mindset towards financial freedom. It's all about giving you guys realistic expectations so that you've got the best probable chance of achieving it. And if you got value from this, go and listen to the rest of the lessons. And if you haven't yet requested to join my Facebook group, it is tearsoffreedom.com/mastermind. Until next week, guys, have a great rest of your day and weekend, and I'll see you then.
Subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss an episode. For news on all future events and updates, go to jasongraystone.com.